Hello, I'm Philip Stoughton. I'm here at Electronica 24 and I'm joined by Dirk Stans from Eurocircuits. Dirk, I almost forgot what year it was there.
2024.
Absolutely, 2024. 2024, a year of all kinds of political disruption, geopolitical change. There's a lot going on. How has that affected your industry and how has that affected the way you think of the position of the European industry in that increasingly as well?
Well, first of all, Philip, we need to stay positive.
We do.
The positive thing about 2024, where we are now, is that it's almost 2025.
There you go. It's almost gone.
It's almost gone. No, I think 2024 was a difficult year for the industry.
Yeah.
And I think during this week, we saw the presentation of Dirk Stans. He explained it in great detail what the problem was. And I think he was absolutely right. It's a self-inflicted situation for the biggest part. But you need to make the differentiation between people that are dealing with prototypes like ourselves, and of course the people that do mass production. For them it was worse. For us it was also less pleasant, I would say, but not as dramatic as it was. And you feel there is still a certain rush in the market. I mean, yes, we do a small bit, less prototypes, but only 5%.
Yeah.
And if you look at the assembly side of things, assembling prototypes, there you see that people are still under stress of having to do a lot themselves because that thing is growing like coal. And from our side. So yes, there is still a lot going on, and that makes me hopeful. That's also why I said it's almost 2025.
Yeah. So looking forward to the new year. Yeah, and see what the trends are there. It's going to be really interesting to see. What I think is fascinating when I talk to you is you have a foot in the camp of the printed circuit board industry, and you have a foot in the camp of the EMS industry.
Exactly.
When you look at 2024, how much differentiation between how they both performed, or were they pretty much in parallel?
Well, the bareboard, as I said, it's 5% less, but the assembly is booming. We grow more than 30%.
Wow.
In that area. And that shows me one thing, that is that hardware designers are still under stress.
Yeah.
Because what they were doing before manually, they now outsource to us, and that is a good thing. I mean, we do it in a professional, industrial way. Everything is done on professional assembly lines. In the meantime, we have 11 of those.
Yeah.
So it's quite a good business for us. But I think the main thing of what we do different than a lot of other people is in our vision, it's always data first.
Yeah.
And if you have the data first approach and you can make this circuit board and the assembly, you can look at the design for manufacturing in the total package.
Design
and
for
that is something unique. And that we do first. We first built a digital twin. Today, the buzzword is digital twin. I mean, I've been saying already for more than 20 years, we do virtual manufacturing. But that's old style. Now it's called digital twin. So yes, we make digital twin. And that for the board and the assembly in combination. And that is gold.
Yeah.
Because then you can do things right first time.
Yeah.
Not first time right, Philip, because that may be number 20 that you tried it.
Yeah.
So right first time. Do things right from the first time. And that is our credo. And I think that is why we still do very well in the market.
Yeah.
Because the most costly aspect in doing developments, it's not me.
No,
it's not the components. It's not the board. No, it's actually the designer.
Yeah,
and we need to make the designer more performant, optimize the time that he uses for his design, and make him do things right first time.
Yeah.
So we save time and money together and make us very competitive in the market.
Yeah, and if you can save iterations, you can save time to product.
Exactly.
You're a very critical part of any company that's bringing new products. You're also doing quite a lot of work with respect to lobbying and supporting associations. I think are you chair of the association?
Well, I have been the chairman of the Electronics Federation in Holland for the last 7 years. And now I'm the president of the whole Technological Federation in Holland, which is called FHI.
Okay. So, okay. And they're working throughout the electronic value chain.
Yes, exactly. So we have 4 major branches, and that is electronics, laboratory technology, industrial automation, and building automation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So automation is a big part of it, and it's fascinating. When you before we got on camera, you were listening to a presentation about digital transformation, and I can see the frustration on your face. You've been doing that stuff for ages. You haven't really been using the same buzzwords that perhaps everybody else has, but we've really not had that much success in the industry with the whole industry 4.0 thing, and there hasn't been a dividend. People are perhaps looking to AI to help us, but you've kind of been cranking this stuff out for decades almost.
Yeah, it's because we understood from the very beginning that if you want to make a product, you want to materialize something, you start from the data.
Yeah.
The data that comes from the designer. So what is the single most important thing in your whole value chain? That is the data.
Yeah.
So you should be concerned about the technical content of the data. The BOM is one thing that has to do with sourcing and components, but looking at what components these are, what footprints these are, how the board is made, how it all fits together, how do you make it producible? That is something that starts with looking at the data from a technical viewpoint. And that is something that many people in the industry are simply forgetting.
No, it's absolutely critical. And I think getting ahead. Are you looking at the use of AI, or you're working with AI?
Well, we do that on several levels, but all real small dedicated projects. How it can help us in interpretation of looking at a certain problem. That might be in production, that might be in data, that might even be in my departments, the marketing departments, in text and so on. So it's been there for a while, and we use it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're not spruiking it or selling it as if it's something that's just been invented.
No.
It's a tool. It's a tool. So up there with excellent service quality. Last question: the challenges to the European PCB industry. A lot of conversations back and forward with Brussels. Do you feel that's going in the right direction? But more importantly, do you feel like it's going fast enough?
Well, I'm not a very patient man, so for me it's always too slow. It's always too slow. But I think in what you feel, what's going on now with respect to the talks we have in Europe. By the way, IPC is doing a wonderful job there. But there are a lot of us that support this and that are in this discussion with the people in Brussels working for the European Commission. And that is, Philip, where you really need to be. I mean, these problems that are in front of us, that are ahead of us, no single country can solve that for itself. When we talk about energy transition and all these stuff, one market, one single market for workers, you name it. All these things can only be solved on a European level. Every single country is too small to deal with China, too small to deal with America. I mean, we need the European Union. And on top of that, I feel that if you speak to the people in Brussels that work for the Commission, they are of a very high level. I sometimes have the feeling that the smartest people in Europe are there and not in our local countries. So, and that is a good thing, because the solution definitely, the solution needs to come from them. And when I then see, when we started almost 2 years ago with these talks, then the minds are changing. And even from local politicians that you talk to, they understand that we need to have a strategy for the industry. I would almost say industry first. Without industry, there is no general local value chain. And there is no money to pay for Social Security. There is no money to pay for streets, for whatever we need and whatever the citizens every day enjoy in our Western life. So we need industry, and that is changing. And this needs to, I would say, influence everything we do. For instance, if I think about education, we have not enough people that learn technical professions. When I finished my study almost 40 years ago, we had a lack only in Flanders, 10,000 engineers. Today it's even more. So we're still not going forward. In Germany, it's the same thing. Every year we lose about 6,000 people working in electronics. And we need more. We don't need less. So yes, we need that to influence everybody. And that is gradually changing. Lately, we had a lot of visits and talks with people that are working for the Commission, but also for the European presidency. And they assured us that even the people they work for are really influenced by this thought that we need to do something for the industry. I also see it in the Budapest Declaration. It comes forward everywhere, but we need to keep on hitting the same nail.
And that's the only way to work. And it's important to take that ecosystemic approach. Two things. I don't believe it was 40 years ago when you were at school. 20 years at the most. Thank you for the work you're doing with IPC to support their efforts. I think it's really important that they get industry supporting them, and they can be the conduit to get that message to Brussels. Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome, Philip. My pleasure.